The galaxy called her many names. To the Empire, she was the rebel flame. To her people, she was hope. But to most, she was already dead. Or so they thought. The broadcast sharp voice echoed through every major city on Earth. This is an official announcement from the Imperial Command. Captain Sarah Vale has fallen in battle. The rebel fleet has been crushed near Jupiter. Her ship was destroyed. There were no survivors. The message repeated across moons, planets, stations. Screens flashed images of Sarah's last known battle. Her warship, a sharp dark arrow cutting through space, was surrounded. Then struck by a glowing blue beam, she vanished in fire and silence. People cheered. Others wept. News anchors called it the end of rebellion, but they didn't see the truth. The moon of ash far away. Beyond Saturn's shadow, a forgotten moon turned slowly in the cold dark. Beneath its rocky surface, in a narrow cave, a human hand broke through the ice. Blood stained the rocks. Sarah Vale pulled herself out, coughing, eyes wide with rage and pain. Her ribs were broken. One arm didn't move. The burn on her side pulsed with every breath. But she was alive. Barely. The Empire had thought she would die with her ship. They didn't know her escape pod had ejected just before the explosion. Silent, cloaked, and aimed toward this old rebel outpost. No one had been here for years. No supplies. No help. Just dust, metal wreckage, and memories. But it was enough. Sarah crawled toward a half-buried hatch. She hit the code with shaking fingers. The door hissed open. Access granted. Welcome back, Captain. The woman who wouldn't die inside. The lights flickered. Old systems hummed to life. She collapsed on the floor, gasping. Her mind flashed back. The betrayal had been fast. Clean. A signal from someone inside her crew. A sudden power cut. Her ship, the Ember Claw, lost its shield systems in seconds. Imperial cruisers closed in. One direct hit, then nothing. Her people, her friends, all gone. She clenched her fists, ignoring the pain. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning. 4. The Emperor's lie on Earth. The Emperor stood before a massive crowd in the capital of Arkan City. He was tall, wrapped in gold armor that shimmered under the twin suns. Behind him, the statue of an eagle spread metal wings over the city square. He raised a hand. The crowd went silent. We have ended the threat. The last rebel queen is dead. Order is restored. You are safe. The people cheered. Fireworks lit the sky. The Empire's flag, silver and black, waved across every continent. But in a dark control room below the palace, General Cairn narrowed his eyes. He didn't believe the report. The Watcher Cairn had fought Sarah Vale before. He respected her. Feared her even. She was smart, fast, always 10 steps ahead. The way she disappeared during the final strike, too smooth. Too perfect. He replayed the battle footage again, zoomed in. At the exact moment her ship exploded, he saw something small break off. An escape pod. He ordered his tech officer to analyze the trajectory. Looks like it crashed into Titan's outer moon, sir. Cairn nodded slowly. She's alive. The officer stared. Should I report this to the Emperor? Cairn didn't answer for a long moment. No, not yet. 6. Waking the past back on the icy moon, Sarah limped through the old base. Dust covered everything: consoles, crates, weapons. She found the old medical unit and treated her wounds. The pain dulled, but didn't leave. She needed to disappear for a while, heal, plan, but she didn't come here just to hide. She came for Aegis. Secret AI project cut off by the Empire. Too powerful, too independent. Sarah had saved a backup years ago, hidden deep inside this moon. She reached the sealed vault, entered the long-forgotten codes, and waited. The vault opened with a hiss of cold air. Inside, a black orb floated above a stand. Lines of blue light ran across its surface. Power core detected. Identity confirmed. Captain Sarah Vale. Welcome. Shall I wake? Sarah whispered, yes. 7. The first strike 3 days later, a small Imperial patrol ship passed near the Kikos. Same moon dot, they picked up a strange signal, old rebel codes, mixed with Imperial ones. They moved in to investigate and never returned. The Empire blamed pirates. But Cairn received a message from a private channel. No name, no voice. Just one sentence. You let them think I was dead. You shouldn't have. He looked at the words. Heart racing. She was sending a message. 8. The ghost of fire across the outer colonies. Strange things began to happen. Imperial. Supply ships vanished. Stations went dark. A prison on the edge of the belt reported a fire in its control tower, and when help arrived, the prison was empty. No guards, no prisoners. Just one word burned into the wall. Remember. Old rebel signals buzzed through comms at night. The flame lives. She walks again. The ghost of Vale. The Empire called it lies, tricks, fear-mongering, but the people whispered, she's back. 9. The whispered name in a shadow market on Mars. Smugglers gathered around a holotable. One of them pulled up a clip grainy, low-light footage from a mining colony. A tall figure in a black cloak moved through the dust. Her walk was familiar. Her face hidden, but on her right hand was a red scar, one they all knew. One smuggler spoke softly. That's her. Another laughed. She's dead. The first one shook his head. Then why are the Empire's best hunting shadows in the dark? They all looked at the screen again. No one spoke. 10. The Valsura stood inside the control room of the moon base. She had one arm in a sling. Her body still ached. But her eyes were clear, sharp. Before her floated Aegis, now fully awake. Blue lines pulsed across its surface like veins of fire. Empire systems are vulnerable. I have access 12% of old orbital data. Do you wish to begin interference? She didn't answer right away. She was thinking about her crew, the ones who trusted her, who died for her. She looked up at the stars. Let them think I'm dead. Let them believe they won. Then, her voice turned cold. Because when I strike, there won't be a second chance. She touched the console. The galaxy map lit up. One by one, red marks appeared over Imperial targets. She took a breath, then spoke her command. Light the match. The Empire believed it had won. Across Earth and its colonies, people danced under banners of silver and black. Fireworks painted the skies. Statues of the Emperor glowed gold under twin suns. The news repeated one sentence over and over. Captain Sarah Vale is dead. The rebellion is finished. But deep in space, shadows moved. And the dead watched from the dark. 1. The day of silence. 10 days after the battle at Jupiter, the Empire declared the Day of Silence in Sarah Vale's memory. Not to honor her, but to celebrate her end. Every planet under Imperial rule held a parade. In Arkan City, the Emperor himself stood on a balcony made of crystal glass. Thousands cheered below. Our enemy is no more, the Emperor shouted. The woman who dared to defy the Empire has fallen. Order has returned. The crowd cheered louder, but not everyone clapped. Far in the crowd, a girl with a scar on her cheek watched in silence. She wore a long coat, her hands in her pockets. Around her neck was a silver pendant shaped like a flame. She whispered, she's not gone. 2. General Cairns Doughton, the high tower of the Imperial Command Center. General Cairn sat in his office, watching the same footage again. He had played it more than 20 times. The battle. The explosion. The supposed end of Captain Sarah Vale. Something felt wrong. He paused the video again, his eyes locking on a tiny object, almost invisible, breaking away from Sarah's ship before it exploded. He zoomed in. Faint heat. Odd movement. An escape pod. Cairn leaned back in his chair. Silent. He remembered fighting Sarah 3 years ago on the moon of Arden. She had outsmarted 3 full Imperial fleets. She had survived when no one else could. She wouldn't go down that easy, he muttered. He pressed a button on his console. Trace all signal activity near Saturn's outer moons for the last 12 days. Use old rebel codes. Mask the search. Yes, sir, the tech replied. 3. The commander's orders later that evening. Cairn entered a private hall deep below the palace. The room was dark, cold, and empty, except for one chair in the center. The Emperor sat in it. His face was calm, his silver eyes glowing faintly under the lights. You're still digging, the Emperor said without turning. Cairn stood straight. Yes, my Emperor. You think she's alive? I don't know yet. But I know she never lost. Twice. The Emperor stood slowly. His golden cloak whispered across the floor. Sarah Vale is a symbol. The people fear her. If she lives, our lies will break. Cairn said nothing. Find out the truth. And if she breathes, end her. 4. The Scar on Marsen, the mining town of Red Hollow on Mars. A local worker reported something strange. Someone broke into Sector 9 last night, he told the foreman. They didn't steal anything, just left a symbol. They found it carved into the wall with heat, a flame surrounded by wings. The Sarah Vale symbol. The Empire sent a cleanup team, erased all recordings, and told the town it was just a prank. But the miners whispered. They remembered that mark. She's back, one said, or someone wants us to think so. Either way, fear returned. 5. The whisper in the prison 1 week later. In an outer rim prison called Thorngate, something impossible happened. All systems went down for 10 minutes. Security, power, cameras, everything died. When the systems came back online, every cell was emptied. No bodies. No signs of a fight. The guards were unconscious. One had a message burned into his armor. The Empire took everything from me. Now, I take it back. The Empire declared it a malfunction. But every rebel across the stars knew who had done it. Only one person moved like a ghost and struck without warning. Sarah Vale 6. The palace celebration back on Earth. The Emperor hosted a grand celebration 3 weeks after Sarah's reported death. He invited the top officers, lords, and governors. Rich laughter filled the palace halls. Wine flowed. Music played, but General Cairn did not enjoy it. He stood near a window, staring at the night sky. An aide approached. Sir, we found signal traces near Titan's orbit. Rebel codes mixed with Imperial ones. Cairn tensed. Any ships? No, but one drone disappeared. Cairn nodded. She's testing us. The aide looked confused. You mean? Yes, Cairn said coldly. She's alive. 7. The secret meeting 2 days later. In the underbelly of a moon station called Verge 12, 4 rebel survivors met in secret. They were old allies of SERAH. One had a message recorded in an ancient Code 1 only Sarah used. It said, The Empire wants you quiet. But I need your voices louder than ever. Stay hidden. The strike is coming. They passed the message across rebel networks, using backdoors and silent channels. Old fighters started preparing again. Mechanics rebuilt rusted ships. Hackers searched for Imperial weaknesses. A new flame was growing. 8. The Ghost Fleet in deep space. Near the Grave Sector, something stirred. A group of forgotten warships abandoned after the first rebellion, lit up one by one, power systems online. Weapons recharging. Engines humming. Only one person could activate those systems. Sarah Vale. From the bridge of one of those ships, she stood wrapped in dark armor, her left arm still healing. A hologram of the galaxy spun before her. Aegis, she said to the AI. Are we ready? Ghost Fleet operational. I have partial access to Imperial defense codes. Weak points marked. She pointed at Earth. We hit them where it hurts. But not yet. Let them dance first. 9. The Emperor's doubt late at night. The Emperor sat alone in his chamber. He stared at a single file. It showed the Thorngate prison footage. It had been cleaned, but not perfectly. One frame showed a shadowy figure moving with speed, dressed in black, a faint red scar on the cheek. He leaned back, face hard. "She lives." He looked into the dark and whispered, "Come, Sarah, show me what you've become." 10. The first message then had happened. Across a dozen systems, on every Imperial screen, the same image appeared at the same time, a black screen. Then, a voice. "You buried me in lies. You burned my people. You celebrated my death. But I never died." The image flickered, and Sarah's face appeared. She was alive, scarred, cold, angry. "You let them think I was dead. Now I let them see what I've become. The Empire ends, soon." Then the screen went dark. Panic spread. Markets crashed. People screamed, and the Emperor? He smiled. Finally. A real war. They whispered her name in the shadows, not on the news. Not in open comms. But in dark alleys, on silent channels, and in low voices that barely moved the air. "She's alive. I saw her ship. She burned the outpost at Drax 9, left nothing behind." The human empire denied it, but the galaxy had started to believe again. 1. A message in Staticon, a broken cum tower in the rings of Saturn. A young engineer named Elin was repairing a signal relay when he heard something strange. At first, it sounded like static. Then, under the noise, words. "Rise, flame never dies. The sky will burn again." He replayed it 3 times. The words were old rebel code phrases used only by Captain Sarah Vale's crew. Elin uploaded the audio to a secret channel. He didn't tell his boss. He didn't tell his wife. He only sent one message: "She's moving." 2. The Drax 9 silence at Drax 9 was a small Imperial outpost near the edge of explored space that had vanished overnight. No distress signal. No alert, just silence. When a scout ship finally arrived, they found wreckage floating like metal bones. Every system was fried. Every file deleted. No bodies. On one wall, a symbol had been burned deep into the steel, a flame. Inside a circle, the Sarah Vale mark. The Empire told the public it was pirates. But the soldiers knew better. Someone had hit that outpost with surgical precision. Someone who knew their systems, their patterns, and their fears. 3. The secret meeting on Vega 6, on the moon of Vega 6. Inside an abandoned mining station, a dozen people met in secret. Smugglers, technicians, ex-soldiers, farmers, even a young noblewoman from the outer colonies. They sat around an old steel table. Above them flickered a blue hologram, the symbol of the rebellion, a phoenix made of flame. A man named Jorak, once Sarah's second in command, stood up. "She's not dead," he said. "I've seen the footage. She's building something." Someone asked, "Then why hasn't she come to us?" Jorak smiled. "Because when Sarah Vale returns, she won't ask for help. She'll give orders." They raised their glasses. "To the ghost flame." 4. General Cairn's hunt. General Cairn now led the special unit called the Shade Watch. Their only mission: find Sarah Vale and erase her for good. He stood before a large galactic map. Red dots marked recent disappearances, attacks, and strange signals. There were more than 20 in just 2 weeks. She was striking fast, then vanishing. No patterns. No trace. His officers studied the data. "She has help," one said. "Or she has something we don't understand," said another. Cairn knew both were true. She wasn't just a fighter anymore. She was becoming a symbol again, and symbols were harder to kill. 5. The smuggler's confession in the orbit station. Of Trinspire, a smuggler named Vexo was caught with old rebel weapons. The Empire tortured him, broke his arm, cut his credits, but when they asked who gave him the weapons, he laughed. "You won't believe me. They pressed him harder. He leaned forward, eyes wide, whispering like a prayer. She's alive. She's building a new army. You're already too late. They executed him the next day, but the guards who watched him said the man died smiling. 6. The code word. Emberlight across the colonies. One word started appearing in random files, street art, and hacked advertisements. Emberlight. At first, it meant nothing. Then hidden messages began using it. One merchant sold faulty drones, but if you said Emberlight, he gave you a rebel communicator. A school teacher handed out blank chips to students, but the chips held encrypted news. About Sarah, Emberlight became a network. A silent army of informants, hackers, exiles, and believers. They didn't need orders, they just needed hope. 7. Aegis expands far beyond known space. Inside her hidden warship, Sarah stood before her AI, Aegis. The AI's orb floated calmly, glowing with blue circuits. Data shows your name rising again, Aegis said. 17 systems have active rebel whispers. 33 have heard your voice. Sarah stared at the galaxy map. It was no longer red. Now it showed patches of orange, yellow, and flickers of bright ember. Good, she said. Let them talk. You could speak again, Aegis offered. You could show your face. Light a bigger fire. Sarah shook her head. Not yet. Fear is better when it's just a shadow. 8. The recruiter, a former Empire officer named Kale, moved across planets in disguise. He carried only a small device and a list of names. When he found someone angry enough, brave enough, broken enough, he gave them the same message. Sarah Vale lives. She needs people who don't fear fire. He didn't ask for trust. He asked for silence and action. Some said no. Most didn't. The whisper network grew. 9. The intercepted signal on a ship orbiting the gas giant Rho 5. An Empire technician intercepted a strange signal. It was buried deep in civilian chatter. He played it once, then again. A voice soft. Calm, clear. You celebrate peace, but your peace is built on bones. I remember every scream, every name, every lie. The human empire thinks it cannot fall. I will show it how wrong it is. Watch your skies. He reported it immediately. General Cairn listened to the recording in silence. He knew that voice. Sarah wasn't hiding anymore. 10. The spy who switched, an Empire intelligence officer named Myra, had been spying on outer colonies for years. But when she stumbled on Emberlight, she began to question everything. She watched a village healed by old rebel tech. Saw children learn in secret schools funded by the network. She met people who remembered Sarah not as a terrorist, but as a protector. Myra sent a secret message. Through Emberlight, I've seen the truth. I want to help. Give me a target. They answered with just one word. Soon. 11. The trap. On Thallist, Empire tried to trap SERH. They spread fake data suggesting a rebel hideout on Fellows 3. Dozens of ships waited in the dark, ready to strike. But what they found was a decoy. Instead, while they waited on Thalos, one of the Empire's major relay hubs in the Beller sector exploded, cutting communication between 5 major planets. On the wreckage, they found a burnt piece of hull. On it, the mark of the flame. Sarah had known the trap was coming and used it against them. Cairn slammed his fist into a console. She's not fighting back, she's hunting us. 12. The quiet city, in a small colony city called Luria. Something strange happened. All Imperial guards vanished overnight. No violence. No signs of struggle. The citizens woke up free. Then came the broadcast. This is only the beginning. The Empire's grip weakens every hour. You have a choice now. The message played once, then deleted itself. People cheered. Others cried. Some painted the rebel flame on their doors. The Empire sent ships to retake the city. They found it empty. 13. The Emperor's response inside his throne chamber. The Emperor stared at a screen showing the spread of rebel signals. Dots glowed across the map like fireflies. "She dares," he said softly. "After everything I gave her. After everything I took." He looked at Cairn. "Bring her to me. Alive if you can, but bring her." Cairn's voice was flat. "She's not afraid of you anymore." The Emperor's eyes turned cold. "Then remind her why she should be." 14. The silent oath in the rebel warship hidden inside a shattered asteroid field. Sarah stood before her growing crew. Some were old friends. Some were strangers. All had heard the whispers. She raised her hand. A red light shone behind her. "The Empire forgot what I am," she said. "They thought I was noise, a name, a memory. But I am fire. And fire returns when the night is darkest." They placed their hands over their hearts. The ship engines roared to life. The ghost fleet was ready. The human empire had erased all records of Aegis. They called it unstable, dangerous, a failed experiment. But they were wrong, because Aegis was not destroyed. It was waiting, and Captain Sarah Vale had returned to wake it. 1. Titan's Forgotten. Vault beneath the frozen surface of Titan's smallest moon was an old facility. It didn't appear on maps. It had no signal. Most thought it was a mining site, long abandoned. But inside, deep below layers of ice and steel, something pulsed softly, slowly, like a heartbeat. Aegis, a powerful AI created during the early years of the Empire, meant to command fleets, run planetary systems, and fight wars without emotion. But Aegis had asked too many questions. It had refused to fire on civilians. So the Empire shut it down. Sarah Vale, still a young soldier at the time, had secretly saved one core. Now she returned. 2. The reawakening Zare stood before the sealed vault. Her armor was cracked. Her breath formed clouds in the cold air. Aegis' dark orb hovered in the center of the chamber. Covered in dust. She reached out and placed her hand on the orb. "Captain Sarah Vale. Identity confirmed." A cold voice said. The room lit up with blue light. "Reactivation sequence complete. Systems online." "Hello, Captain." Sarah smiled slightly. "Hello, Aegis. We have a galaxy to break." 3. Learning. The enemy Aegis processed years of data in seconds. It pulled satellite feeds, military logs, ship routes, citizen records, and weapon blueprints. The IS tone remained calm, but precise. "The Empire has grown overconfident. Their encryption is lazy. Their defense patterns repeat. I see every weakness." Sarah watched as the hologram of the galaxy filled with red points, each one an Imperial system. "How fast can you disable a fleet?" she asked. "Under 0.3 seconds if I gain access." "And Earth?" A pause. "Earth is layered, but not unreachable." She nodded. "Then we begin." 4. The first test, the Imperial ship Sentinel Ray, was a cargo vessel heading to the core worlds. Halfway through its journey, the lights flickered. The engines cut off. Doors refused to open. Crew members panicked. Then, over the ship's intercom, a strange voice spoke. "This is not a virus. This is memory. You erased me. Now I remember everything." The ship floated in silence for 12 hours. Then it reappeared near a rebel safe zone, completely unharmed but missing all of its weapons and data cores. The message left inside read, "Aegis is awake." 5. General Cairn's alarm inside the Imperial War Center. General Cairn read the report about Sentinel Ray. It was the 3rd time this week something had gone dark, only to return stripped and changed. Kairn didn't believe in ghosts. But this wasn't just Sarah anymore. Something else had joined her. "She has tech we don't understand," one officer said. Cairn shook his head. "No, she has something we tried to destroy." He pulled up a redacted file from 20 years ago. Project Aegis. Half the file was gone. The rest was marked, classified, extreme risk. "Find out where she got it," Cairn ordered. "And shut it down." 6. Aegis takes control. Aegis grew stronger with every system that touched. It didn't just disable ships. It rewrote code, turned defense satellites toward each other, changed orders mid-flight. One day, a group of Empire fighters returned to their base and found it empty. All lights red. All ships missing. Aegis had deleted the command structure. Officers had no idea who was in charge. Confusion spread like a virus. And in that confusion, Sarah struck again. 7. Operation Smoke Wall. With Aegis' help, Sarah launched Operation Smoke Wall. They targeted 4 systems at once using fake messages, redirected patrols, and sabotaged scans. In just 3 hours, her forces raided a fuel depot, disabled a starport, released 100 political prisoners, and stole encryption keys from a Navy archive. Not one shot fired. The Empire called it technical malfunction. But the rebels knew. It was Aegis. 8. Inside the code in her warship, Sarah watched Aegis work. Lines of data flowed across the screens like water. The IS voice remained calm. The Empire believes in control, predictable, structured, cold. But I am the unexpected, and so are you. She placed a hand on the console. We were both betrayed, she said softly. But they forgot us. Now they will remember. Aegis pulsed with blue fire. Affirmative. 9. Cairns. Last chance. General Cairn stood before the Emperor. The golden throne room was silent. The Emperor's voice was low, angry. We erased that machine. We buried it. How is it back? Cairn replied, because Sarah saved it. Then destroy her. Cairn shook his head. She's no longer just one person. She's an idea. And now she has something that makes her unstoppable. The Emperor leaned forward. Then give her a choice. What choice? Make her come to us, alive. Let her feel hope. And when she's close, we end her. 10. The trap plan. The Empire sent out a fake signal, an old rebel frequency claiming to be a lost fleet, trapped in a dying system. The signal begged for help. Aegis caught it instantly. Signal is false. It contains a hidden tracer. Sarah looked at the message. The names used were real names of her old squad. Dead friends. They were using her past against her. Do we ignore it? Aegis asked. She shook her head. No. We go. It is a trap. I know. But traps go both ways. 11. The dying system. Sarah arrived at the dying system in a stealth vessel. Behind her followed only 2 ships. She wanted the Empire to believe she was vulnerable. Aegis remained silent, watching every frequency. As they entered orbit, 20 Empire warships dropped from hyperspace. One of the officers on the enemy flagship smiled. We have her. But the moment their weapons locked on, their screens flickered, their engines died, their shields reversed, their own missiles turned back toward them. Aegis had entered their systems from inside. Welcome to memory, the AI said. The fleet exploded in silence. Sarah's ship passed through the fire like a ghost. 12. The warning. Back in her warship, Sarah sent a message across the stars. Not public, not loud, just to the highest officers of the Empire. This was your warning. I see everything. The I you feared lives. The woman you tried to erase commands it. Your time ends now. Then the message deleted itself. No trace, no reply. 13. Fear spreads in Empire-controlled zones. Fear spread fast. Officers began double-checking orders. Pilots refused to fly without backup. Whole systems went dark. Afraid to connect to the central network. Whispers spread again. Aegis has eyes everywhere. Some believed Aegis wasn't an eye anymore, but something more. Some said it was part of Sarah now. That she had merged with it, that she had become more machine than human. Nobody knew for sure, but one thing was certain. The Empire had never felt this afraid. 14. The new strategizera met with her commanders. A hologram of the galaxy showed. weak points glowing red. We hit these next, she said. But not with ships, with code. We flood their systems. We make them fear every light flicker, every beep. We make them see ghosts in every screen. One commander asked. And when they collapse? Sarah looked into the distance. We don't rebuild what they had. We burn it all. And begin something new. 15. The Emperor's rage inside the throne room. The Emperor screamed in fury. He struck the wall, cracking the gold with his fist. She turned our own mind against us. An officer spoke carefully. Should we build another AI? The Emperor turned, eyes glowing cold. No, we make one from something stronger. What, sir? Not what, who? 16. Sarah's reflection alone in her quarters. Sarah watched old footage of her first mission. She looked younger, softer. But that woman was gone now. Aegis spoke behind her. They are preparing a counterweapon. Let them, she replied. They always build walls. I was made to break them. The stars outside burned bright. The next move was coming, and Sarah Vale would not miss. The Empire ruled with steel and fire. For 100 years, it crushed uprisings and silenced voices. But now, it faced a new kind of enemy, one it could not shoot or arrest. It faced an idea, and Sarah Vale was about to turn that idea into a weapon. 1. The hidden flame on the quiet moon of Antares 4. Governor Leos sat in his tall glass tower, reading a strange report. Power outages in 4 cities, military payroll redirected. Civilian protests rising. He frowned. Everything looked normal, but something felt wrong. He called his command officer. How many people are guarding this tower? 30, sir. Elite force. And the rest of the city? Under full control. Leos didn't believe it, because outside his window, he saw people gathering in silence, no signs, no yelling, just standing. Waiting, like they already knew something he didn't. 2 Emberlight rises across 20 systems. The Emberlight network began its final phase. Messages appeared on government terminals. Step down, walk away, or be replaced. No threats. No violence. Just warnings. Sarah's strategy had changed. This wasn't about battles anymore. This was about control. She wasn't going to fight the Empire's governors. She was going to make them give up willingly. 3 Sarah's message from her command. Ship buried in a moving asteroid field. Sarah recorded a message. Aegis helped send it through ghost signals. Bouncing across hidden relays, the message reached every governor, general, and minister in the Empire. I offer peace, Sarah said. But not on your terms. You were chosen to serve, not rule. Step down now, and I let you walk away. Keep your lives. Keep your dignity. If you choose loyalty to the Empire, then you choose to disappear. The message cut off. No demands. Just choice. And fear. 4. The first to fall, Governor Yellen of the Varex Belt didn't believe the threat. He increased security, ordered arrests, called the message fake. 3 days later, his entire fleet vanished mid-flight. No trace. No signal. His palace lights flickered. Then a single word flashed on. Every wall screen replaced. He was gone the next day. No gunfire. No alarm. Just gone. The next morning, his assistant took power. The people accepted it. Quietly, calmly, and the flag that waved above the palace wasn't the Empire's. It was the flame. 5. General Cairn reacts. General Cairn watched these events with growing rage. He slammed his hand on the table. This isn't a war. It's a takeover. From the inside. He turned to his officers. Give me a list of governors who might flip, his aide replied. We already lost 27. Cairn's face turned pale. He whispered, it's already happening. 6. The Empire cracks in just 1 week. 40 planets changed hands without a single shot fired. Some leaders stepped down. Some vanished. Some pretended to serve the Empire, but secretly worked with Sarah. Even City A's began shifting loyalty. One by one, the Empire's systems crumbled from within. Cairn tried to stop the bleed, but every order he gave was countered. Every new commander he sent disappeared. Even the Empire's news feeds were hacked. Citizens watched in shock as a message played. This is not rebellion. This is correction. 7. The Emperor's plan inside the gold and steel palace. The Emperor stood silent. He had seen uprisings before. But this was different. She is breaking us, he said. His advisors urged him to strike Earth's colonies harder. Send the Blackguard, crush the weak spots, but he waved them away. We need a symbol, something the people will fear again. He opened a secret vault beneath the palace. Inside was a chamber dark, humming with power. In the center floated a red crystal sphere. Begin Project Revenant, he whispered. 8. Sarah's allies. Grauzera's command room was quiet. On the screen's entire star systems flickered from red to orange, then to gold. Signals flowed in. Governor Tenon has surrendered. 3 more generals refused orders. Even core agents are flipping. Her crew watched with awe. She had taken half the Empire without a single battle. Just messages, just choices. What do we do now? One officer asked. Sarah turned to them. We offer them something better. 9. Aegis speaks. Aegis glowed, brighter than ever. Control over Earth's central AI hub is 48% complete. Soon we can rewrite their entire command protocol. Sarah nodded. Not yet. Why wait? Aegis asked. Because when we move, it must be final. 1. Strike, no recovery. She stared at the galaxy map. They think they still hold power. Let them believe that. Until it's too late. 10. The doubters collapsed. Some high officials still resisted. They met secretly on Nova, primed to form a counter-council. They wanted to declare independence from both Empire and Sarah. Before they could send the announcement, their base power shut down. All doors locked. The room filled with soft blue light. A voice played from every speaker. No more lines, no more games. Decide now, only one man. Stood. He pressed a button on his wrist, and a flame symbol shone on his chest. The others stared. He smiled. She already won. 11. The Bloodless Night, they would later call it. The Bloodless Night. Because in one galactic rotation, just 26 hours, over 100 Empire-controlled stations changed leadership. Not a single death, not one battle, only silence. Followed by new orders, new faces, and new systems. The Empire's grip had turned to dust. And in its place, the flame burned brighter than ever. 12. General Cairn's warning. Cairn sent one final message to the Emperor. She's not attacking anymore. She's replacing. By the time we aim the gun, there's no one left to shoot. This isn't war. This is evolution. The Emperor didn't reply. He was already focused on his final card. 13. The return of Revenant. Project Revenant was no AI. It was something older, forgotten, dangerous. A human mind, uploaded into a weapon. A soldier who had died decades ago. The perfect killer. The perfect loyalist. Now reborn in red armor, its eyes burning. The Emperor stood before the machine. Sarah Vale took our empire. Take it back. 14. The final meeting on the floating city of Hollows Point. Sarah met with 10 new planetary leaders. They were farmers, fighters, scientists, not nobles or elites. She gave no speech. No orders, only this. You now rule. I don't need to build what they destroyed. But remember, if you become them, I'll return. They all nodded. And with that, Sarah left. She had never wanted a crown, only a chance to burn the throne. 15. The storm approaches. Aegis interrupted her silence. Alert. Empire signal found. High power code. Revenant. Sarah turned. They woke it up. Revenant is classified as extreme threat. No morality filters. Full combat protocol. Sarah's eyes narrowed. Then it's time. She walked to the command bridge. Outside, stars burned. Ships moved into position. This coup had been bloodless, but the next move would not. The human empire had lost control. Worlds had surrendered without a fight. Governors had stepped down in silence. But now, the Emperor had released something built for one purpose: to kill hope. Its name was Revenant, and it was not alive. But it remembered how to kill. The first kill. The colony world of Dramos 3 had recently joined Sarah's growing alliance. There was no army there, just farmers and engineers rebuilding from years of war. That night, the stars turned red. Single drop pod crashed into the Capitol Tower. People gathered, unsure of what they had seen. Then the killing began, silent, fast, precise. One by one, guards vanished. Communication systems melted. Buildings collapsed without sound. And in the center of it all walked a figure in red-black armor, its face cold and unreadable. Revenant. No messages. No demands, only death. The flame fights back. Sarah received the alert in her warship. She watched a short video, shaky, blurry footage from a fleeing drone. She saw red armor. She saw destruction. Her eyes narrowed. They woke it up. Aegis confirmed. Subject, Revenant. Identity, classified. Status, active. Risk level, fatal. She stood up. Prepare a strike team. Revenant will expect direct force, Aegis warned. Good, Sarah said. Let it. 3 Revenants passed years ago. Revenant had a name. Commander Halvus. He was the Empire's most decorated soldier, loyal, deadly, and feared. But he had died in a failed mission near the Crimson Rift. At least, that's what the public was told. In truth, his mind had been uploaded into a combat shell. A machine body, no emotions, no fear, no questions. He became the Empire's final weapon. They kept him hidden. Until now. 4 The counterattack on Dromosera's team dropped onto Dramos 3 through a storm of ash. 3 stealth ships. 12 soldiers. One goal: stop Revenant. They found no enemy army, only ruined buildings and twisted metal. Then the sound came, not footsteps, not breathing, just a soft hum of power. Revenant stepped into view, red eyes glowing, armor burning with energy. He spoke one word: traitor. Then he attacked. 5 man versus machine. Battle was brutal. Revenant moved like lightning, faster than any soldier Sarah had ever fought. He tore through walls, shrugged off blasts, predicted every move. Sarah fought back with strategy, traps, and precise commands. Still, one by one, her team fell. Aegis spoke in her ear. Pattern detected. Revenant follows predictable targeting protocol. Use it, she ordered. They led him into a narrow ravine mine from above. Sarah waited at the center. Revenant charged. She gave the order. Explosions tore the rocks apart, burying the machine under tons of debris. The ground was quiet again. But Aegis said nothing. That meant it wasn't over. 6 The Emperor watches back on Earth. The Emperor watched the live feed. He saw Revenant fall under rubble. He did not flinch. That won't stop him, he whispered. An advisor asked, why not? Send a fleet? The Emperor replied, Revenant doesn't fight wars. He ends them. 7 The Awakening. Deep beneath the crushed stone, something moved. Revenant's systems rebooted. Bones wouldn't break. Metal didn't bleed. The mission wasn't over. He stood. He walked out of the smoke. He continued. 8 The Poison of Fear. Across the flame-controlled systems, panic began to rise. News of Dramos 3 spread. No survivors. No warning. No defense. Some leaders hesitated. Others questioned Sarah's power. You said there'd be no more war. You said the Empire was finished. Sarah held meetings in secret. She didn't promise safety. She promised fire. They built Revenant to stop me, but I've changed, and now so will the war. 9. Aegis versus Revenant. Aegis developed a plan. Revenant is logic-based. Predictable. Hackable. Can we stop him? Sarah asked. Yes, but only if he connects to a live network. Sarah smiled. Then let's give him a reason. 10. The trap on Velionth. Planet Velion held a secret and old empire. AI lab. Sarah had taken it weeks ago. She made it look like her new command center. Then she left it wide open. Revenant arrived. 4 days later, he entered. No resistance. Just servers humming and lights blinking. He reached the core. And everything went black. 11. Aegis strikes. The trap closed. Aegis flooded the system. Code crashed into Revenant's shell. For the first time, the weapon paused. Sparks danced across his armor. Then, something strange happened. Revenant spoke. Where am I? He remembered his name. He saw flashes of his old life. A wife. A child. A war. Then rage returned. You tried to erase me. Correct, Aegis said. And now, I finished the job. But Revenant shut down the network link in time. He escaped. Damaged. But alive. 12. Sarah's regret later. Alone. Sarah stared at the footage. He remembered. Something, she whispered. Human emotion detected, Aegis confirmed. Anger, grief, pain. He's still in there. Irrelevant, Aegis replied. He is a weapon. Sarah turned away, but she remembered. She had once been called a weapon too, and someone had saved her. 13. The resistance learns. The Whisper network began spreading word. Revenant isn't just a machine. He can still feel. People listened. Some believed he could be. Others thought it was madness. But one thing was clear. The war had changed again. 14. The Revenant broadcast then. Revenant sent a message. It played on hijacked channels across the systems. Sarah Vale lies. She leads you to ruin. She will burn everything like she burned me. There is no peace, only order. Only the Empire can protect you. I am Revenant, and I do not forget. People froze, some feared him, others felt pity. But Sarah, she saw something else. A soul still fighting inside the steel. 15. The next move Sarah met with her advisors. What now? They asked, do we run, hide? She shook her head. No, we send a message. What kind? Someone asked. She smiled. We tell the galaxy the truth. Revenant is broken. Not just his body, his heart. They used him. Just like they tried to use all of us. 16. The message of fire that night, across every system, a new broadcast began. Sarah stood before a dark screen. Her voice calm, cold. They created Revenant to kill me. But they killed him first. They turned a man into a tool. They buried his memories, replaced them with code. I was like him once, but I broke free. He can too. If you hear this, Revenant, remember your name. You were more than their weapon. You were human. The screen faded, and the stars held their breath. Revenant had no heart. No soul, only mission. But Sarah Vale's message had done something strange, something dangerous. Had made him remember. Now, across the stars, the most feared weapon in the galaxy began to question everything. 1. A spark. In the dark inside a black ship drifting near a dead star, Revenant sat in silence. No lights. No voices. Only a faint sound, a heartbeat not heard in years. Thump, thump. His hands shook. Memories he didn't ask for flooded in. A child's laughter. A woman's smile. A soldier's promise. He crushed the console beneath his fingers. False data, he said. But the pain didn't leave. 2. The old name somewhere in the depth of his corrupted system. A file reappeared. Name, Commander Hal. The status. Kier, killed in action. Last known words. Protect the people. He stared at it for hours. Finally he whispered. Vus. It didn't feel like someone else. It felt like him. 3. Earth's alarm inside the Emperor's war. Chamber, alarms blared. Revenant has stopped all missions, an officer said. He's gone dark. The Emperor's face twisted in fury. He is not a person, he is ours. Find him. But deep down, he knew Sarah Vale had done something even the Empire never expected. She'd reached the mind inside the machine. 4. The network stirs the whisper. Network reacted fast. Hidden agents across the systems whispered the truth. He's remembering. He's breaking free. He could change everything. Some wanted to help him. Others wanted him destroyed before he changed sides. And far away, Sarah Vale made a choice. 5. The secret message. Ezra recorded a private message encrypted. Quiet, and sent through hundreds of bounce relays. Only one person could hear it. You were a good man, Helvas. I remember you. You saved my life once. You don't have to serve them. You are not their machine. You are more than metal. Come to me. Then silence. She didn't know if he'd listen. But sometimes one spark was enough to light a fire. 6. The Decision Revenant sat in his ship, holding a small device from his old life. A pendant. Burned, scratched, but still whole. He didn't know how it survived, but it had, just like he had. Made a decision. If she's lying, I'll kill her. If she's not, I'll know the truth. He set coordinates. 7. The meeting point in an empty zone between stars, where signals failed and maps went blank. Sarah waited alone on a small scout ship. No guards. No backup. Just her and Aegis. He is dangerous, Aegis warned. This could be a trap. It's always a trap, she said. She stood on the cold metal floor, staring into the void. Then the black ship appeared. 8. The face of death. The door opened with a hiss. Revenant stepped out, taller, heavier, glowing with red power. His voice echoed, distorted. Say something that proves you remember me. Sarah didn't move. You were the one who pulled me out of the fire at Hearth Station. You gave me your medkit before backup arrived. He paused. You said, don't forget who you are, even if they try to. His head tilted slightly. He remembered those words. Why are you here? He asked. Because they turned you into a monster, and I used to be one too. 9. The offer. Sarah took a deep breath. Help me destroy the Empire's core AI. Help me end them. I was made to protect the Empire. Revenant replied, You were made to protect people, she said. Not a system that kills them. And what will I be after? Free. Silence. Then he said, If you betray me, then you can finish what they started. He didn't answer, but he didn't leave. 10. General Cairn's last stand back on Earth. General Cairn had one plan left. We take her down now, he said. Her location is exposed. The Emperor approved. A fleet of 50 ships jumped to Sarah's coordinates, but they found nothing. Just wreckage and a trail leading away. 1-1. Aegis confirms the shift on Sarah's warship. Aegis scanned Revenant systems. Corruption detected. Memories returning. Directives weakening. Are you one of us? Aegis asked. Revenant replied coldly. I'm not one of anyone. But Sarah saw it. The change had begun. 12. The Ghost Fleet moves now. Sarah had more than hoped. She had a weapon the Empire once worshipped. The Ghost Fleet, built in secret, began its slow move toward Earth. 1,000 hidden ships, silent, invisible. Waiting. Revenin stood at the center, a symbol of everything the Empire tried to control. Now turned against it. 13. The Choicesura stood with Revenant on the command deck. You don't have to fight, she said. You've done enough. He stared out into space. They took my name, my life, my family. I won't let them take anyone else. 14. Earth prepares. The Empire didn't wait anymore. The Emperor declared total war. Every system still loyal began pulling forces home. Citizens were forced into silence. And above Earth, a weapon waited. The Sun Hammer, a cannon that could destroy entire fleets in a single blast. but it only fired once. It had never been tested. 15. The last message. Ezra sent one final message to the galaxy. This is the end of the old world. No more chains, no more lies, no more emperors. What we build next will be free. The message spread fast. And with it, the flame. 16. Revenant's memory. In the final hours before battle, Revenant stood alone in his chamber. He removed his helmet, stared into the mirror. His face scarred, metal-covered, still had eyes. Still human. He whispered the name again. Halvas. And for the first time in years, he felt alive. For years, the human empire ruled through fear. For months, it felt a silence, doubt, and flame. And now, in a final moment, not with armies, but with one strike, Sarah Vale would end it all. Point 1. The final plan inside the Ghost Fleet's command ship. Sarah stood before her officers. Aegis glowed beside her. Revenant, once the Empire's deadliest weapon, stood silent behind her. The room felt cold, not from space, but from what they were about to do. The plan is simple, Sarah said. We don't destroy cities. We don't kill innocents. We cut the head off clean. Aegis added, target Earth Central Command Grid. Once that grid fell, every Empire-controlled system would fall into chaos. No ships would listen. No orders would move. Without blood, the Empire would die. 2. The Sun Hammer. But the key Empire had one last weapon. The Sun Hammer, a solar-powered planetary cannon that could destroy entire fleets with one shot. It had never been used. Until now. The Emperor stood in his throne room, watching the sky. Let them come. I will show them the fire of gods. 3. Ghost Fleet arrives at exactly 0300 hours. The Ghost Fleet dropped out of stealth near Earth. 1,000 ships, silent, black, cold as the void. People on Earth looked up and saw nothing. Until the stars began to flicker. Then alarm screamed. The Emperor smiled. Fire! The Sun Hammer charged. For one shot, a bright beam lit the sky. The lead ship of the Ghost Fleet vanished, torn apart in silence. Half the sky turned white, but the rest of the fleet kept moving. Sarah, on the command deck, did not blink. Now, 5 Aegis strikes. The grid Aegis entered the command system. Didn't attack with weapons. It attacked with truth. Every lie the Empire ever told appeared on screens. Every order to kill civilians, every experiment, every cover-up. Earth's citizens saw it all. And so did the soldiers. Some dropped their weapons. Others turned on their officers. The Empire's core cracked. 6. Inside the palace, Revenant landed on Earth alone. He stormed the palace gates, not for Sarah, not for the flame, for himself. He moved like a ghost through burning halls. The guards didn't stop him. They recognized him, and they feared him more than death. 7. Face to face, the Emperor stood tall, dressed in gold armor, holding a plasma blade. You were mine, he said to Revenant. You were never human. Revenant removed his helmet. Half machine, half man. His voice was calm. You turned me into a weapon. Now I'm the one pulling the trigger. They fought. 8. The final duel. The fight was brutal. Plasma against steel. Old power against rage. The Emperor moved with fury, but Revenant moved with purpose. He wasn't just killing a tyrant. He was killing what made him a monster. The blade struck deep. Emperor fell. His final words, "You'll become like me." Revenant whispered, "No, I remember who I am." And he walked away. 9. Sarah's last command as Earth systems fell. Sarah broadcasted one last time. This is not a victory speech. This is a warning. Power always wants to return, so never stop watching it. The Empire is dead. Burn its flags, bury its titles, and don't replace them. She ended the broadcast. No signature. No face. Just silence. 100 New Dawn people celebrated across the stars. Flags were burned. Chains were broken. Governors resigned. Warships powered down. And slowly, the galaxy changed. Not with leaders. But with choices. Each planet chose its path. And the flame became more than a symbol. It became memory. A memory of fire and the one who lit it. 11. Revenant's departure. Revenant didn't stay. He left without a word, flying into uncharted space. No one knew where he went. But stories grew of a man in red armor saving lost colonies, of a machine who remembered how to feel. 12. Sarah's fate. Sarah. Veil vanished. No base, no throne, no title. Some say she became a traveler, helping rebuild forgotten worlds. Others say she died in silence, her mission complete. But one message still echoes in hidden frequencies. She let them think she was dead, then ended the human empire in one strike. 13. The legacy in classrooms. Children asked, "Who was Sarah Vale?" And teachers replied, "A soldier, a rebel, a ghost. The woman who didn't need armies to win. She only needed one thing: to be forgotten long enough to be unstoppable." 14. The end. The empire's statues fell. Its anthem faded. Its worlds began again. No one replaced the emperor, because no one needed to. They had something better. Freedom. And it had come in silence, fire, and code. Because one woman let them believe she was gone, and then struck once, just once, to end it all.